Welcome to Curdcast, the podcast for people who like to eat cheese. I am your host, Jenn Mason, and with me today is my co-host, Julie Faye Fanbalzer. Hello, Julie.
Hello, Jen. It's so nice to be able to see you.
I know, it's so exciting. So we're using a brand new podcast. We're going to give this a try. We may eventually start doing live streams with this. So bear along with us today. We're really excited to share our June Curdbox. And before we get really any further, we need to bring in our co-curator for this box. And I'm excited to introduce Michele Ragussis, Chef Michele Ragussis, who, first of all, I think the order that we should talk about this is first she's beaten Bobby Flay, which I get that tattooed on my forehead if I had done that. And she, I didn't meet her. I fell in love with Michele when she was on Food Network Star. And I'm a big food porn watcher, and I loved her focus on New England. I'm originally from the Midwest, but Michele just it was really your focus of the whole show. And I, as a storyteller, and Julie here is a storyteller as well in our own, genres and mediums, but I really liked, I thought you had one of the best mindsets for storytelling around something with food. And I fell in love with you then. But tell us what you've been doing and what I know you've been working on some projects during COVID, and tell the listeners what you've been up to.
Well, thanks you guys for having me, and thank you for the Food Network Star thing. I should have won, by the way, but whatever. We'll just let that go. It was actually though fun that you say this, because while I was on the show, they have to judge you, and everything was about, Michele, New England. We think of lobster, we think of clams and mussels, and that's it. How can we build a show around New England? And I was like, New England is not lobsters, clams, and mussels. It's a lifestyle. People sail, boating is huge. I mean, the food scene, the Portuguese immigrants that have changed the food scene up there. So that after I started talking about that, they were like, all right, now you're selling us. And I was like, but I have been up to, a lot of cooking classes. I'm working on a project with Mary Stuart Masterson, which we've talked about. She's, for anyone who doesn't know her, she was Iggy in Fried Green Tomatoes. So, that's pretty cool. I've done another show that just came out I cannot tell you about, but you will see it and I will let you know. And the outcome hopefully is good. And yes, I should have gotten Beat Bobby tattooed on me, but I beat him with a Greek recipe, and that's tattooed on me. So it's
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. And, I'll tell our viewers, our listeners, our Curdbox eaters that we asked Michele if she wanted to do this. Michele has been a great recipient. She's reviewed our boxes before. We sent them to her. Did you like them? And we didn't ask her to post online, but she did. And we fell in love with her. And we were like, I want to do a box with Michele. I want to see what that brain would think of to put in this box. And we kind of narrowed it down to a few different things. I hope we're going to do another box with Michele. But yeah, we definitely looked at Greek. I mean, I think I spent most of COVID catching your Instagram lives, and you were making, you made some lamb meatballs one day, and I was like, with everything I could do to not leave work, because I do have some stuff, to go get some lamb, and you just make everything look so easy and flavorful. Like, it's like, how do three things you put together, and it's easy and it's great and it's fantastic. So everybody should be following you anyways. We'll talk more about that at the end, but you really are, you've got like a few niches. So hopefully we may circle back. I would love to see a Greek box with you. So
I'd love to see a Greek box, Italian box, a gay pride, but all of them. I mean, it's funny that you say that, because when I cook, a lot of people are like, well, you only have like 5 ingredients. And I'm like, yeah, but they're the 5 best ingredients. So let's highlight them as best as we can. And right now I got everybody sitting outside my house, and I have some cheese and parsley sausage, and I'm going to grill it. And then get the way I finish it, and people literally go, what? It's just the sausage and then a ton of fresh lemon and maybe some fresh dill I'll pick and just throw it on top. And that's it. And people will eat it and go, what is that? And I'm like, that's lemon, some dill from the garden, and some really good sausage. So it's like, it's all about highlighting a few ingredients, and that's why I love your company, because
Yeah.
you get
I don't know about you,
cheeses.
Julie, but I would want to follow her around. So Julie and I both done TV, and we know like while you're on, you have to talk. You have to talk
Yeah.
while you're doing, and you chefs definitely have to do that. I would love to go grocery shopping with you. I wonder if Julie wants to go with me and just have you just vocalize with the thoughts in your head. I would love to hear you as you like grabbing a lemon and grabbing these things, because you're seeing that ingredient as 20 different possibilities of what you might think about later. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yes.
It would be fascinating to follow you through a grocery store.
You guys, it's funny, when every time I go to a grocery store, when I'm loading up the cart area, I say to whoever's working, I go, do you have any idea what I'm making for dinner? And they're like, what? And I'm like, well, if you had to look, what would you think I was making? And they're kind of like, I don't know. But then I start to like get to know my people, and I try and shop at farms up here. I'm in the Hudson Valley, so very lucky. And we have this one store called Adams, and everything is local. Nice. And so it's beautiful. It's like shopping in a big farm stand. So if I have to go to a grocery store, that's kind of where I move to go. And so now I know everybody, and they're like, they know I'm a chef, and they're like, well, so I think you're making, I don't know, they'll know maybe meatballs, and I'm like, no, and I'm like, there's some pancetta in there. I'm like, come on, and they're like, bolognese, and I'm like, yeah, and like, so we play that game, and it's a fun game to just go and.
I love it. I think that's fantastic. So what we do here, Julie and I eat through a plate of cheese, and we get to do that with you, and then we get to ask you interesting questions on your insight on these items. And I'm going to tell you guys all about the items as well. For those of you who have just happened into this because, we did a really good job with social media and said, hey, Chef Michelle's with us today. This is a Curdbox podcast, Curdcast. And I'm wondering if we're getting a little, are you guys getting feedback at all?
Nope.
There's a slight echo.
Okay, I'm gonna try turning this down. Again, people, this is live. We're like doing it. Okay, so this is our Curdcast podcast. We make a box called Curdbox. It's 3 cheeses and 3 pairings that all revolve around a story theme every month. And we deliver it to your door, and we think of it as a cheese and pairing experience. It is a subscription, but it's really about having fun with the people you live with or inviting friends over. It's been really interesting. COVID hit, and everybody who lives alone put their subscription on pause, and they're opening them back up. And now everybody's subscribing because they can now have people over, and so but we had a ton of people who signed on and discovered us because they were bored at home or because they were having trouble finding good food or all those things. So I just want to thank everybody who's helped this small women-owned business. But if you want to get one, you can go to curdbox.com but that's what we're doing today. So if you don't have it, you can find these cheeses. These are New England cheeses. You can find these products in the markets. We just find them all, and actually there's one you can't find because we made it special. But let's get started. So
let's eat some cheese.
Okay. I'm hungry.
So we're going to start with Melinda May, and I don't know how we sent it to all of us. It is so ripe. It is so beautiful. Mine. I had to put mine in a little cup because it was running away from me.
Yeah, I put mine on a plate, and it's running. It is beautiful.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
Oh yeah, it's on the spoon. I can tell you, this is one of those like love from across the room moments. I saw that sort of oozy, creamy, gooey, and I said, "Oh baby, let me get my hands on you."
I was opening everything, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like I can't wait to do this with you guys, because it's very hard for me not to like dive in to everything."
So Michelle, out of curiosity, because I don't know, is this cheese just always like this, or is this because it comes at a particular time, or you know what I mean? Like, what makes it so ooey gooey? Is that just the nature of it?
Yeah. So do you know the answer to Michelle? Because if not, I can answer.
Yeah, you answer it, because
okay.
I will tell you guys, I'm in love with cheese, but my knowledge isn't as good as yours, one. I know we need cheese out at room temperature. Those are the things, like as a chef, I would always have, when I was in the restaurant making cheese plates, yes, we would order cheeses from all local places, and we want to support our cheesemongers and our farmers. But to me, it was about, let me taste it. And I would have someone like you, experts, tell me more about it. Yeah, I'll give you my flavor profiles and what I love, but I am no means, and that's why I love this company. And that's why when me and Jen started talking, like there's nothing for me in the game, but it's a woman-owned cheese company pairing box that I thought was the coolest thing. And so that's why I love this. And then,
Excellent.
Okay, so Jen.
Thank you. So, so this falls into our bloomy and brainy category, which Julie, they've actually, you're going to love this. They sort of fashioned this after a robiola, which is why you're going to love it. Robiola, Michelle, is one of Julie's favorite cheeses. The stinkier, the creamier, the funkier, she's good for her. And it's made in Connecticut. The interesting thing about this company, this is Mystic Cheese. They're in Groton, Connecticut, and they actually refurbish shipping containers to make the cheese in. I mean, they're not like they're using it as a room, not as a form for the cheese. For those of you who've never seen cheese made, which is really unique and totally interesting. And it's a beautiful. This is a surface ripened cheese, soft ripened. It's ripening from the outside in. This is only a month old, which means it has to be pasteurized because we can't have raw in the United States under 60 days. And it's, I think you get like little notes of sort of like warm bread. Now, for those of you listening to this, are like, how can cold cheese taste like warm bread? Think about the flavor you get when you've had warm bread and some cultured butter, or just some butter if you've never had cultured butter on it. That you kind of get that taste from this, especially right now. And I'm the cheese is made in batches, and so I'm hoping everybody that gets this is we're getting it all from one batch likely, but sometimes you can go back and get this at your cheesemonger and it'll be much firmer. It probably won't be any more ripe than this, just because at some point all the cheesemongers eat it because it's at their favorite. It's the secret. We steal it. We don't steal it. We take it from the store with our employee discount. But this only lasts for so long. Also because it starts getting really hard to cut. So we like cheese cases like a kindergarten class, and we like baby this until it gets to this stage. So I'm super excited. It's very hard for us at Curdbox to like time it exactly right and get it shipped to you. It's going to feel a little squidgy in your packaging. It's okay, but have a plate to put it in, and you could dip French fries in this. I don't know. You could pour it over. It's like pourable at this point. It is great. Michelle, what do you think about, like, all of these cheeses could be just eaten plain, but any ideas on how you would use this separate from the box?
I can eat this cheese.
Oh my God. Like this cheese, if I had to think of like incorporating this cheese into like, okay, I'm going to tell you what I'm making for dinner tonight. Mm-hmm. So I am making a grilled, because I'm trying to be healthy and I love eggplant parm. So I got some eggplant that's salted, right? So I get the water out. This to me would be that layer of cheese in it. And I'm doing a grilled eggplant parm, and then I have a pizza oven, so it's going to be wood roasted after I grill it and stack it. And you know that some of this is definitely going in there for that like extra creamy, because it does have that buttery. It's buttery.
Yeah, super buttery. And sometimes when cheeses get this ripe, the rind can be a little can get bitter, and this rind is beautiful. For those of you who don't eat rind, you don't have to. This is no shame, but this is really a delicious cheese. And
this cheese makes me want to smash things in a good way. Like I'm just was like this, like, are you kidding me?
Yes,
that's how good it is.
Yeah.
Excellent.
This is like, it's so flavorful. The mouthfeel is amazing. It feels so like fat, for lack of a better word. And it is salty, but not at that point where you're like only tasting the salt. And it has just that touch of that funky undertone that's so nice. I want to rub this on everything.
Me too. And even if I just put it on a cheese plate, or we were talking about lamb, to me this is a great pairing with, like, even on top of a lamb meatball with lemon zest, just to kind of cut through the fat and bring out all of the flavors again, right? Like I always think about, how are we building these flavors? Like lemons to me are one of the most beautiful things, and I'm a zest freak. Like, I lemon zest everything, and it ups your game in vegetables and chili flakes, and bringing, as chefs are always trying to bring in that just spicy and salty, all of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And this cheese would go amazing with lamb meatballs. See, you just made me think.
Yeah.
Meatballs, and I'm like,
I mean, I also gremolata would be,
unbelievable, right on top. A tapenade, beautiful on top. I mean,
okay, we could end the podcast now and just go to that.
right.
Enjoy, everybody.
Yeah, see, we could just keep talking. I mean, it could be days and days of what I can do with this cheese.
Oh,
All right, so let's go on to our next cheese, and everybody who's listening along can eat their delicious Melinda May. And now we're going on to our Womanchego.
Love it.
And for those of you who, because I've never been able to show you guys, we didn't do this video. If you want to smell what like a wheel smells like when we cut it open, just crack your piece and smell. I mean, you can smell it on the outside, but it's always freshest right where you crack it.
I have a question because I can never tell what's an edible rind and what's not. Does this have an edible rind or not?
This is an edible natural rind. So if it's cloth, don't eat it. If it's wax, don't eat it. If it's paper, don't eat it. None of those things will kill you, though. They have to put things on that are non-toxic, but you'll be chewing the fabric for quite a while. You might not want to eat the rind. If you can picture a Parmigiano Reggiano, that rind might take you to the dentist. It's a hard rind. It's great for throwing in soups.
Sauces. Yeah.
So great. So it's edible. It's non-toxic, but it is hard. It is hard. And this is a natural rind. It's very thin. So let me see if I can do this on my camera. You can almost from the side not see it, but when you look at it this way, you can see it's a natural rind, which means they don't cover it with anything. And it's cheese. That's cheese, and it's what that cheese looks like exposed to air. And depending on the kind of cheese, they might go in and brush it off and flip it more or less times to keep the moisture the same, so you don't get like a dry top and a wet bottom. But
it definitely has a funkier flavor than the body of the cheese.
It is, and sometimes it'll be crunchier, and sometimes you might not like it. But what we always say is like the cheesemaker thought about what that tasted like. Yeah. And if you want to know at least once, you should try it with if the rind is edible to see what the cheesemaker envisioned. Like, if I have to have a rind that you could eat, this is the rind I want to make. They spend so much time on these things.
You guys want to know what now? So every time you guys are talking about cheese, I'm thinking of course we can all eat cheese plates, but what would I do with this? The first thing, I would bread it, deep fry it, and have fried Manchego cheese or Womanchego, and then again I would squeeze lemon all over it, so it'd be crispy, oozy, lemon, done. Like, oh
my gosh!
And how do you know what's going to be a good like melting cheese for doing something like that?
Yeah, and it's funny because I had fried Manchegos before. This one is so beautiful, like it melts, but it doesn't melt to that, like it doesn't come out of the breading, right? And I would use just a good breadcrumb, lots of Parmesan cheese and fresh parsley and herbs, and then a quick deep fry, golden brown, so that it's not gonna come out, and then just lemon, like a mozzarella stick, but a Womanchego stick.
I love it. And this is made by Cato Corner Farm, and this is made in the style of Manchego, but with cow's milk. It's about 3 to 5 months old. And the interesting thing is that this is, if you've been to Spain, and Julie, I know you have, Michelle, I'm not sure if you've been to Spain, but when you get Manchego there, like when they brought me my first cheese plate when I was in Spain, I'm like, what is this cheese? And they're like, Manchego. I'm like, no, it's not. And they're like, yes, it is. And I only do that because people here in the States, when you get a cheese plate, don't always know what it is. They're like, it's a cheddar. But it was so young, it was like this. And this is not what our Manchego here in the States looks like. Right. By the time it gets here, it is aged.
It always has crystals. I get a lot of those crystals in it. But this is just, it's also very buttery. And it has a little bit of that fat. It melts nice in the mouth. Yeah, it's I mean, I think our New England box is the best box, just saying.
Well, I mean, I think New England's the best place, so just saying.
Too. I don't understand how there's not a New England TV show. It's got the most interesting. Every state I've lived in has its own culture and food that people just don't really know about. Like, do the deep dive into New England, and you'll really be like, wow.
101 ways to eat Dunkin' Donuts.
Well, I mean, that's right.
There's a handful of us who have talked about, Vermont's got a great cheese festival. Massachusetts does a little cheese festival. but we've talked about there needs to be a New England one. There are a few of us who've played around with that idea, so
I'm in with you guys.
It's rolling around out there. All right, excellent. And then our last cheese, but not the end of the box, is our Shelburne 2-year cheddar. So Shelburne is Shelburne Farms. They've won, I think, 39 awards on their cheddar since 1990, which means almost always. They are actually they're more than just a farm. I want to get this right, so I'm pulled up my notes because it's really important. So the farm is membership supported. It's a nonprofit. It's an environmental education center, so people can come there to learn about farming and such. And it's in Lake Champlain, and it's a grass based dairy. This is a really great place. I mean, it's everybody in New England, every cheese store in New England carries Shelburne because it's a delicious cheese and it's too easy to love. And you can they make it in a few different years. They also make one called Tractor. And the interesting thing is Tractor will always be different. You can't fall in love with Tractor because Tractor is, when they taste a batch and it doesn't taste like their regular cheese, it becomes Tractor. And it's delicious, but the next time they get a cheese that so it could maybe taste too umami to be this that people come to expect. Yeah. It's really interesting because these are artisanal cheeses, so it depends which cows are milking and what the grass tastes like and all that stuff. All those little things could change it and make a batch taste different. It's not bad. It could be delicious, but they can't replicate it, so it becomes Tractor. We haven't carried that one yet because we haven't figured out how to do this about the batch.
Yeah, hey, that's hard. But this cheddar is I love a strong cheddar. They're the very mild cheddars that I'm it doesn't almost taste like anything. And this to me is that's your everyday cheese that you could I can eat that cheese every day. I can eat them all every day. But if I'm craving a cheddar cheese, that would be it. It is just filled with so many different things in my mouth.
Yeah. What do you think?
What I would do with it, but there's so many things now. What would I do with this? I mean, you could do that's a cheese that could go everywhere in any kind of food.
Yeah.
Well, it feels like it's a powerful cheese, which you don't always think of cheddars as being because it is very salty. And so I feel like it would stand you put it in a turkey sandwich with an apple as a very simple use of that cheddar. And it's still talking to you. It's still very much making its voice heard. And I like that when the cheese isn't just for mouthfeel, but it actually adds to the flavor as well.
Yeah. Which I think is probably one, because there's so many things when you're eating a sandwich or something, the cheese is like an afterthought. People are always let me put that when I want the cheese to be forefront. You bite into something like that, you're going to be wow, I taste the cheese before I taste that turkey. Hands down.
Yeah, it's a cheese with turkey sandwich, not a turkey.
Yeah. That's the way it should be.
Yeah,
and it makes sense to me that this is a choice for you because knowing that your method of cooking and thinking about food is really about ingredients standing up and talking for themselves. This totally makes sense for me.
This cheese to me, if it was fall and you said apples, to me a cold roasted butternut squash apple and this cheddar would be a divine sandwich on a good sourdough or something, so that then you got all those flavors. You got your apples and your squash and a little sour, and then this salty that's a sharp, delicious cheese to me.
I'm clearly coming to your house in the fall to eat that.
You could come to my house and listen. This house is open to everybody. I literally, you guys, I have a pool. There's so many people outside. Some days I'll come home and there's the neighborhood is out there. I'm just have at it, you guys. Have fun.
Well, we bring cheese at least.
That's what I gotta do.
I also think this cheddar. I think you took me on a path with the apples. I could imagine fresh picked apples, after you've gone to the apple orchard sometime that week in fall, and this cheese and a local caramel just as the dessert plate, and people would be like, "How did you think of this?" And you'd be like. And you're like, it's apple, cheddars, and caramel. Guys, I didn't cook anything.
Right. That goes perfect together. I'm coming to your house. Why are you coming to mine?
We're progressive.
I'll be over to everybody's house.
All right. We're just hanging out, eating cheese.
I love it.
It actually reminds me of when you blew my mind once, Jen, by sprinkling sugar on top of a cheese and bruleeing it.
Oh.
And I feel like this cheese would really hold up to that sort of candying.
Oh, yeah. This would be fantastic.
Yeah.
And actually, you know what else this would be good at? This is a trick. Julie, I've not done this with you, but you've got a little one. So when it's time to start, have you made him grilled cheeses yet?
Oh, my son, he's not a big fan. We did try to make him one, was not a fan.
All right. Well, you didn't use Aunt Jen's cheese. So when you use Aunt Jen's cheese, but grating a little bit of this and actually putting it on the outside of the sandwich so it's in the butter part could be really fantastic, right?
Yeah.
So good.
That sounds so good. And would this cheese like get really crispy if you grated it in a pan and just on low?
Yeah.
Like a Parmesan. So like I would use, so if you could do that with this cheese, I would make even tacos with it. Like braised chicken taco. If you can let this sit and get nice and crunchy, nice like Chipotle braised chicken, because this cheese would stand up to that.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Yeah. Ooh, okay. All right, people. You have to order 2 boxes when Michele does her boxes, because there'll be one for the cheese board and then you have a second one.
Right. Next
cooking.
We're just gonna throw Michelle's ideas of recipes in there.
Yes, there we go. That's what we do next time. Okay, so we've done all our cheeses. Now I'm super excited. So Michele, have you gotten yours yet? You've gotten all yours? Good.
Yeah.
We sent Michele a bunch. So these little special things, you cannot buy this anywhere. This is our first time we've done our own special thing. And Michele worked with Butterfly Bakery. So Butterfly Bakery, we did their maple sriracha mustard in our Vermont box last year, I believe, maybe the year before. Wow, all the months. We've been doing this for like 37, 38 months now, and they all blend in together. But we wanted to do something New England. And so I think, Michele was thinking, is it blueberries? Is it cranberries? Maple obviously is a great one. So the people at Butterfly Bakery did this special batch just for us, smoked onion. And it's a maple wood smoked onion with cranberries for New England and a little bit of maple syrup in there as well. I'm super excited about this. I should have got.
You know what I love about this mustard? So, because I was tasting the mustard, you really get that tartness of the cranberry, which I love, because you have the sweetness of the onion. You can taste the mustard, you can taste the maple syrup, but like right at your back note, it's tart, and that's the cranberry coming through, which is just beautiful. It's a great mustard. I mean, I couldn't even be happier with that.
I mean, I want to glaze some chicken with this. I want to.
Oh my God! I would even add that to pasta. Finish it with pasta. You could do a really good, like, to me, this would go really well with like, and we don't have our cheese in this box, but if you had some kind of blue or gorgonzola and fruit, apple, again, roasted pears, that kind of a ravioli, and made a little mustard sauce with a little bit of that.
So great.
This mustard is interesting to me because it's a different consistency than I'm used to. When I think of mustard, I think of it as a thicker, more paste is the wrong word, but this is a much runnier. I wonder if it's because of the vinegar. Like, it's interesting because I think of it's so strongly flavored that at first I was thinking, well, how would you spread that? But now I realize you need such a small amount of it because it has such impact.
It has so much flavor to it. Yeah, I love that mustard. That is a home run.
You did a good job, Michele. We have a few bottles if you're local. We do have a few jars of this. We have a couple of big jars of it too. But when it's gone, it's gone. Unless you guys all tell us and they'll make it a product. And I believe actually we let them keep a few jars on their website, Butterfly Bakery. I think it's butterflybakery.com. And so you can get it from there. And it's legit because it says Curdbox on the side.
It is legit.
It's legit. So that's great. And then happy surprise when we were looking for our pairings for this. So many things are made in New England, but when we're curating our box, like, it's got to fit in the box. It can't be $4 million. It has to.
Hard to narrow down.
Yeah, and so there are things, and we love the people at Effie's. So Effie, the woman who actually started making oat cakes for her family, she learned this up on a farm, brought it down to Dorchester, Massachusetts, and then her daughter and her daughter's best friend started making these oat cakes. And this is a brand new flavor. Like this literally just came out and it had cranberries in it. And I was like, well, we have to do this. We made it work.
I snacked on these, They are so good. So last week I had our Memorial Day weekend. I took one of the boxes over and like this gone, and everyone was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a New England curd. That's our box." They are so good. And at first I think a lot of people might be like, walnut cranberry fennel. What? The fennel is so nice. It's not like smack you in the face. It's got that nice back note. The cranberries, these are like shortbready but biscuity, and I just love them.
Yeah. We always joke that these are crackers for the people watching their weight and they're cookies for the people who like to splurge. Yep. They're both. But the fennel is really interesting. And I don't know how much you've cooked. I growing up was never a fan of sort of the anise licorice flavor. But as an adult, I've come to love fennel. I think it has 3 different products. We get the fennel bulb, we get the fresh fennel, and then we get fennel pollen, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fennel. Yep.
Fennel pollen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What is that? Like use it as a spice, or how does that work?
Like dusting on something, you can use it. You can finish with it. You can. There's so much. As an Italian, my mother called it fenouil, right? And I was American Italians say funny things. Like she would go outside and get the basilic on. And I was like, what? The basil? And only Italians know what I'm talking about. But she would always come home and go, I cut up some fenouil, and I was like, okay. So as a kid, I was always gnawing on it raw, and I don't love that licoricey. But fennel is just a different thing. When it's roasted, it's different. Mm-hmm. The fronds are beautiful to throw in a salad. So it's like, it's a versatile. Yeah, it's a good one.
And in this, I'm almost, okay, let's see if you can go here with me. And all you crazy people listening to me are like, Jen should not be on video anymore because she gets carried away. Or maybe it's because I'm on with Michelle. Do you know how we've been talking about lemon a lot? And when you put lemon on something, it like makes it zing. Or sometimes it's just you salted it enough and it makes it zing. Yeah. The fennel in this does not come across as anise to me. It like zings the sweetness.
Yeah, and I agree with you and I think it's because of the sweetness in the cracker or shortbread cookie. It's like there is no of that licorice. It's not that. And again, it's like they did it so well with not making it in the forefront. Yeah. There are certain things. If your ingredients aren't used in the right way, you're going to be like, holy fennel. But they did it so well that the cracker is so sweet. And then you get that, again, back note. That's why these companies have just did such a good job of highlighting it, but not pushing it in your face.
Yeah, they really did. And they came out with 2 other ones that are really fantastic. One that goes terrific with goat cheese. It's a lemony one and an almond. It's a ginger one. And ginger and goat cheese are
so delicious.
I think they've been married in every life and they keep coming back to life and they get married again. They're so great. And the almond one I'm just an almond fan. Really, really fantastic. So we love Effie's. And we're excited to have this in there and excited to it was great for them because it was brand new. And so we get to send this out to hundreds and hundreds of people. And now everybody is falling in love with us. And now you won't be able to find it in stores because it'll sell out. But they're making more. They're good. There's lots.
They're delicious.
And then sort of our last thing, and we always try to think of we should have something, I want to say, we usually have a honey, a mustard, or a jam. Something in that sort of texture wise. It could be spicy, it could be sweet, but it's a texture thing. And we don't always do a cracker when it calls for it. And let me just say this Melinda May, I can eat it with my fingers, but it calls for a cracker. But this, the trail mix from Lucy's is really fun. And this is representing Maine. So we got Maine in the box. This has 11 different fruits, nuts, and seeds in it. And it's got pineapple and cranberries and
dried apples.
Pepita.
We can tell everybody the truth. I ate mine when it came in right away. So they had to send me some more. But it was so good. And I'm not a big trail mix fan, but this one is so good because if you really pay attention, the almonds are salted so perfectly. They're almost a little heavy salt, which carries through the bag so nice. And I love the apples and I love the banana chips in here. And there are, of course, dried little Maine blueberries in there, which is my favorite ingredients in the world. So yeah, this is great. And it's funny, I lived in Rockland, Maine, so I was on the Penobscot Bay all the time, hanging out in my boat playing with the seals. But Maine's one of my favorite states, so I'm a big fan of this.
Yeah, and the nice thing is
the candied fruit in it.
So good.
Oh my gosh,
so you
so
have
good.
so many different flavors, right? And the pumpkin seeds are not salted, but the almonds, like if you eat one of those almonds, they're heavily salted. Yeah. Not in a way where you're like, ooh, in a way where you're like, can I keep eating these?
Yes.
Yeah, it just brings out the flavor. And I think I'm so curious now. I think the candied fruit and that salty cheddar are going to be such a nice combo.
Yeah.
Perfect combo.
And
it goes well actually with all of these cheeses.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to be doing later.
That's the nice thing to do. That's the nice thing to put the trail mix on here. And, so we basically gave Michele a bunch of options and choices and she approved them and stuff. But when we saw the trail mix, we thought, we haven't done a trail mix yet. And we like to have people think of really interesting things to put on a cheese plate. And a trail mix is not something people automatically go to, but it goes so well.
It goes, and with Melissa May, it's nice to just sprinkle some right on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you have that fatty cheese, and then you have all that texture, and then the salty, and then the sweet. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it is a perfect thing. I mean, in restaurants, I've been making cheese plates my whole entire life, and we're always like, all right, well, it's ramp season. We're gonna pickle ramps. We're gonna pickle fiddleheads. Let's pickle some strawberries, and we're always doing the pickling thing. And we always get like some beautiful honeycomb, but you're right, never a trail mix, and we always put nuts though, but why not? Yeah.
I would also say for someone like me who's not a cheese expert, to put together a cheese plate where I don't have to get like 1,000 different pairings, but I just pour a thing of trail mix on the plate and let people kind of pair as they want. Like it's such an easy shortcut that I never thought of, but now I'm going to use it as my party trick. So thanks.
Guys, I'm actually going to do this because when I leave you, I have my guests outside. They're going to be like, what is that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, I mean, I think now it's time for us to try mixing some things together. I know we've kind of been doing that a little bit now, but and we just sort of chat about what we think goes really well. I'm excited to try the Melinda May and the mustard on the cracker.
I just did some candied fruit with the cheddar and it is bomb. It's so good.
Is it?
Oh, sorry, you guys. 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. I also have to admit that I cheated earlier. And I already dipped in Effie's into the Melinda May. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't resist.
All right, I'm going with the Effie's, the Melinda May, and the trail mix.
Whoa.
For extra crunch.
Oh,
yeah, that is good.
I'm going to throw a little mustard in here. Little Melinda May, little Effie's. Let's see how this goes.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
That is so good.
I'm gonna do the Effie's, the mustard, and the Womanchego, and just make a little cracker right there.
I have to give you so much credit, Michele. This mustard pairs so beautifully. It's one of those things like I can see now. It creates a flavor bridge that's really wonderful.
And really, I love the tartness of it. It has that tart, just beautiful.
I mean, and it's a little terroir in there, right? We pick New England foods. We pick things that I think people need to be braver, and I think that's kind of what Michele teaches with everything. It's like there's fusion foods, and those are great as well. I think fusion foods are fantastic. I'm a big fan, but when you just go to like what's there, what's local, what's natural, it's pretty lucky it's going to go together.
Yeah. When I was in Maine and we had so many Maine blueberries, I was like, what am I going to do with all these blueberries? So I started making a blueberry jalapeno mignonette. And so I've had people in every restaurant stop me and go, where in the world? What made you? And I was like, I don't know. Crates of Maine blueberries, seafood, and on an oyster, it is to die. Wow. And so like literally I would just grill the jalapenos, make the mignonette, shallots, black pepper. I would cook down the blueberries with a little bit of sugar, blend them, throw them in that vinegar, and like you could forget about it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just going off.
I have to confess that I just dipped the cheddar into the ooey gooey yummy cheese, and I feel like cheese on cheese is a fine way to go.
All right, I'm doing that.
Yum.
Cheese on cheese. Oh, I'm gonna do it with cheddar, with the Melinda May, with some of the little blueberries.
Oh wow, it's like a turducken but with cheese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So good. So tasty.
Wow.
So good.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
I just want to eat this all day long.
I just want to smack something. In a good way.
We should let you get back to your guests then.
I mean, right? My guests are going to be like, I think that was my sister trying to go, I have to go to the bathroom. And I was like, get out of here. I'm busy.
Oh my goodness. All right.
Don't be in my pool. No.
Well, seems like we should close things up so that people may use the restroom. And I just want to say, Michele, thank you so much for working on this with us. We would love to do another box with you. If you guys love this, definitely let us know. You can email us at crew, CREW, at curdbox.com. and let us know what you think. Michele, can you tell anything you want to plug? I know there's some stuff secret you can't plug yet. We'll help you plug that later, but where can they follow you? How can they get more Michele in their life?
So, I mean, mostly it's always, Instagram, Twitter. I'm Chef Michele with one L. People make that mistake and always put, 2 L's and they're like, there's no Chef Michele out there. But Chef Michele with one L. You can find me on Instagram and follow along my TV journey, my food journey, my new pottery journey.
Yes.
And so there are a lot of things coming out, which I cannot talk about, but soon, everybody, some big news.
Excellent. And you can follow.
Wait, I just want to say, and thank you for letting me be a part of this, because I think what you're doing is amazing. I love it. And it's really just a fun way to eat cheese. And I think that people always go to a grocery store and they're like, I don't know what to do. So you're taking out the work for people and putting things together that I think are perfect.
Well, I appreciate that. It is not a bad job to have.
Not a bad one at all.
Well, everybody's invited to Michele's house for a pool party later. And you can follow Julie at What Julie Ate. You can follow Curdbox at Curdbox. And you can follow me on TikTok at Curdboss, BOSS, and our people in the box at Mystic Cheese Co. for Melinda May. Y'all want to get some Melinda May right now. You want some beautiful cow's milk, young style of Manchego. You can get that from at Cato Corner Farm Cheese. Shelburne is at Shelburne Farms. You can get the beautiful mustard still on their site until it sells out. At Butterfly Bakery VT for Vermont, at Effie's Homemade for the really delicious biscuits. Check out their other 2 new flavors. And you can get the trail mix and actually a bunch of other mixes. And I forgot to say this. The mixes came about because she forgot to bring a cake for a bake-off. And so she just put granola in jars and sold out. And then everybody wanted her granola. And that's how companies start, guys. That's at Lucy's Granola. And I'm Jenn Mason. That's it for this month. Join us next month where we'll be doing this again. And if you haven't had enough of Food Network chefs, we have a special guest in September. Chef Justin Warner is joining us and helping us curate that. It has been a year of Food Network chefs for us, and just because they're just lovely humans and not because they're from Food Network, we love them. If you have somebody else you'd like us to talk to and see if they want to curate, let us know. And we're happy to share the fun of putting together a box. Until then, we'll talk to you next month. Bye, everybody.
Yes,
Thanks, Michele.
Take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye.